Horikoshi's biggest L. Yup. That's the energy we're bringing. What happened to Mirio, Hori? What happened to Mirio, huh? He had fans. I was one. I was a fan of Mirio. It's a real shame what y'all have done to my boy. But today we're going to talk about it on this channel on Vocal Pineapple, and we're going to talk about all the things that I don't like about Mirio currently. I guess that's not really the topic, but that is going to come up pretty often, I bet. But we're really going to talk about, we're continuing our series and talking about the end of certain characters' arcs in My Hero Academia, right? Because we are nearing the ending of the series, of course. I already did a video just like this about Endeavor and how I think his story is going to end. So I figured the next character I wanted to talk about was going to be Mirio because I have some strong opinions. And also because, you know, why not? Why not have him be the next character? Mirio's a good person to talk about, especially in search ranking, let's be honest. Where do I start with Mirio, right? We can talk about, you know, in the last video, we kind of talked about everything Endeavor's been doing up until this point and the final arc, and right, this is where I think his character is going because of all these different factors that are leading up to his, like, story going this way. With Mirio, we really don't have a lot of those things, right? We really don't have a lot of that we can do because he's been doing nothing but mopping tables. Mopping tables? He's been doing nothing but mopping floors and cleaning tables. And, you know, not that there's anything wrong with that, but for him it is. For him there is something wrong with that. He had a grander purpose. He was supposed to be like, what is the statement? The closest to #1? Shut up, Hork. Are you serious? The closest to #1 where? How is he the closest to #1 when all this time he's been a bum? This is going to turn into a Mirio rant video, but he's been bumming all this time, lurking in the background of the story, whining like, oh, I don't have my quirk. And then in the middle of the war arc, you just have Mirio get his quirk back from Eri over a couple random pages for like a cliffhanger. What is that? Right? What is that about? Because that really, if you want to have the honest discussion, that's the end of Mirio's story in My Hero Academia. We could do this long video talking about like where his story is going to go from here, but like honestly, to be honest with you, we just have to make it up. We have to make it up ourselves based off like what very little information we have about what Mirio's doing, or what his aspirations are, goals are, or like what he could possibly do to really maintain that title of second closest to #1, like, or closest to #1 out of all the students, whatever the statement was. Like, and I think it included pro heroes also. Like, they were like, oh, he's the closest #1, including pro heroes, besides like Endeavor or whatever it was. And it's like, this bum? This is your king? Mirio? Y'all serious? Mirio is so disappointing to me, right? So disappointing to me because in the war arc, Mirio, who can phase through anything, had his opportunity to attack Shigaraki, right? He attacked Compress or whatever. He was heading toward Shigaraki and them and Spinner and everything. And I was thinking, okay, if Shigaraki wakes up here, we're about to have like a conflict between Mirio and Shigaraki or something. Something interesting might happen. You know, maybe Mirio will, you know, almost stop, not literally stop Shigaraki from getting away, but he'll at least like create a moment for someone else to maybe step in this like final moment here, right? Because surely, right? Surely Mirio got brought back to do something, right? And be relevant somehow. He wasn't just brought back for like a cliffhanger and then like punch a high-end Nomu and then not really do anything at all besides that, right? But no, Mirio, who can phase through anything, was blown back by Shigaraki's air burst, or whatever it was, when Spinner put the hand on Shigaraki's face. He was blown back by that. And I feel like I understand everyone else being blown back by that because sure, Shigaraki is very strong. You know, his quirks are very strong in the All for One form. But not Mirio. Mirio should have been the only person who, like, wasn't blown back by that and could still approach Shigaraki and do something, because that is, like, his whole usefulness. You know what I mean? If you would have brought back Mirio at the beginning of the war arc, you would have had like a more fleshed out story with him and Eri and all that stuff, paid a little more attention to like how her quirk is progressing, it wouldn't have been that bad. It would have been okay, right? Mirio going to the hospital, diving to be like, instead of it being Mirko, or maybe Mirio and Mirko because their names are similar or whatever, and their costumes are also pretty much the same color now that I think about it, besides Mirio's cape. If you have both of them go together to try to take Shigaraki out of the pod, that would have been awesome. Imagine Mirio diving down and like trying to take Shigaraki out of the tank or whatever, or like trying to pretty much entirely avoid the high end, and then him being the one that's fighting all the high ends, and then Mirko shows up, you know, and they kind of do their team thing together. That would have been great. We would have had no complaints, you know what I mean? Like, but I feel like what Horikoshi tried to do, and I'm going to be very honest here, I feel like Horikoshi tried to do the Rock Lee. Like, tried and entirely failed to do the Rock Lee. And by that, I mean, Rock Lee obviously lost his powers. I mean, you know, he just lost his ability to kick butt, right? But like, he lost his ability, you know, to do anything. He was way too powerful and too useful, so he got shelved a little bit. And then at a later point in the series, the Sasuke retrieval arc, Rock Lee comes back suddenly in the middle of a dire fight, right? And then he shows off, and then, you know, he almost loses, but then Gaara comes in and saves him. You know, they work together to defeat Kimimaro. I feel like that's kind of like what Hori was attempting here, right? Like, he was attempting to have Mirio come back in like a dire circumstance and whatever and show off, but like, he really didn't do anything crazy impressive. And we really didn't spend enough time with him around for us to feel like it was worth wasting 2 or 3 or whatever 4 pages it was on the airy healing like Mirio and all this stuff. Like, that should have been paid way more attention to. You have a whole arc about these characters that their entire character arc is whether or not Eri is going to heal Mirio, and then you do it and it's just kind of like, okay, it happened, Mirio's back, surely he's about to show off. He doesn't. So where are we supposed to think that Mirio goes from here, right? Because I would be a lot less frustrated with the way Mirio was handled, right? Sure, all that stuff happened. You ruined his character arc a little bit, but sure, whatever. It can be redeemed because he's going to be doing stuff, right? We have this final war arc. Let's go. We're getting prepared. Or, you know, Mirio's obviously going to be useful in this final battle. And yet he's nowhere to be seen. Which battlefield is he on? Is he on Toga's battlefield? Is he in the Dabi zone, the Shigaraki zone, the All for One zone? Where is he? Because we don't see him anywhere. We see the other members of the Big Three who, ironically, people complain that they didn't get a lot of shine when they were originally... Really, Nejire, people complain she didn't get a lot of shine. But boy, has Nejire been showing out in the War Arc. And now she had this great fight with, like, Shigaraki and Todoroki, and they were working together. That was awesome. Would have been great for Mirio to be there. Or maybe not in that moment. Let her get her shine, right? But, like, why was he wasted? I'm just so, like, you hear the pain. Why was he wasted the way that he was? I don't know. And I'm usually the one who like has the ideas for like how a character story is going to go and blah, blah. Here's this theory. Here's this thing that might come true. And I have no idea where Mirio's story goes from here. The only thing I could guess, and maybe hope, but I'm tired of hoping, honestly. Don't give me hope. The only thing I could guess is that Mirio is maybe part of like another team that we haven't seen yet in the War Arc, right? I don't think we know for sure where Spinner is. We just saw Spinner roided up, kind of walking through the forest, like, right? So maybe Mirio is where Spinner is, but it's like, really, Mirio? You've been relegated to Spinner duty? Sorry, Spinner fans, not to like put you down or anything, but you know what I mean? Like, Spinner has a chance of being a very, very interesting league member. I mean, I feel like he is a very interesting league member, but like, he hasn't really gotten that boost of focus that everyone else in the league has gotten, right? And I feel like maybe that's coming, but like, Mirio being part of that randomly, why? Why isn't Mirio fighting Shigaraki, you know, or All for One, the two people who depend on physical contact to do anything to you, and Mirio can just completely shut that off. Hey, yeah, you can't make physical contact with me at all. You can't do anything to me. So even if I can't actually hurt you, I am going to not give you a moment of peace while you try to fight my friends. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm going to protect my friends. And I'm like, even if he can't literally do damage to them, he could still be extremely helpful. It's a dude that phases versus two people that need physical contact to do anything. So where is Mirio? Is he gonna pop back up randomly in another chapter cliffhanger because the Samurai 8 editor wants to have cool, spicy cliffhangers? Is he gonna just pop up somewhere randomly and be like, hey guys, I'm back again, and everyone's just gonna go, all right, Mirio. Like, I just don't understand. So I feel like maybe Horikoshi was successful in pulling a Rock Lee, because I also at the end of Naruto felt like Rock Lee was underutilized. But Horikoshi definitely exceeded my expectations with how underutilized he makes Mirio in the plot, right? And I was a big Mirio fan at one point, but now anytime you see me talk about him, it's just trash talk now, because it's just kind of like, bummer, dude. Like, we had this cool guy, we had this cool character who was set up to do all these things, and like, you know, I understand that the point is Deku has to surpass him, obviously, and show you that he's a better user of One For All. But we've gotten to that point now, I feel like. We've gotten to the point where it's not questionable, to me at least. So, like, why not let Mirio show off? Why not let him be useful? Why not, like, what is with rushing Eri and his interaction with, like, her healing him? What is that? Like, what is going on in this last bit of My Hero Academia where stuff like this is happening, right? That's my question I'm posing to you. Also, I want to ask you guys, where do you think Mirio is going to end up on the hero ranking when everything is said and done? Because, right, he's the closest to #1. But is he really? You know what I mean? Do you think he's really going to end up being the #2 hero? You think he's more useful than Hawks, who's shown like he's 10 toes down? Like, Hawks is out here on the field. You think so? Come on. If Endeavor goes, I don't even know if Hawks could be the #1 hero, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe, but like, I don't know if they would automatically make him the #1 hero. But does that suddenly make Mirio the #2 hero since he's I mean, he's technically a pro hero now. I don't know about like his license and all that stuff, but after you graduate from My Hero Academia school, UA High, after you graduate from there, I'm pretty sure there's not like a hero college. Unless there is, right? That would be... No, I don't want to sit through this. I don't want to sit through all this again. Just have it fumbled at the end. So don't give me Hero College. Just end it. Just let this end. Let's move on to the horror manga, Hori, and, you know, what happened to Mirio. That is the end of Mirio's story in My Hero Academia. I originally intended this video to be like me trying to figure out where Mirio's plot is going to go. But as soon as I started recording, I just got instantly frustrated thinking about everything that Mirio's been through so far and where it led him and how, really, it's already the end of Mirio's story in My Hero Academia. Even if he does something impressive from now on, it's kind of just like, dude, what was the price to get this? Like, this could have been done infinitely better. It was literally done, I feel like, in the worst way possible. So, the end of Mirio's story in My Hero Academia, to me, was the moment that he came back and did literally nothing, and pretty much had his and Eri's whole character arc sacrificed for a cool cliffhanger. Like this!